So, how we going to start this off today? We're going to just drop a little science and we're going to get into this teaching. 10% of the people of the world know the truth of existence. And those elites opt to keep 85% of the world in ignorance and under their controlling thumb. And when we talk about elites, Moors, we got to get color out your head. Because elites can be the ones that no one don't tell you. Elites can be your brother that got the education, your pastor, somebody that don't tell you. But go around talking about it and tell you, and they can tell you, oh, somebody Gucci bag fake or somebody glasses fake. So we got to understand when I say it's the vessel. But those elites opt to keep 85% of the world in ignorance and under their controlling thumb. I don't care if you got a fez on, kufi on, bonnet, don't make me no difference. If you're not right, you're not right. The remaining percentage are those who know the truth and are determined to enlighten the rest of the world. And we are the 5% Moors. The term Moor was always noted in the description of books published in Europe Moors. That's why when I tell you, you got to read Ancient Martin Bricks by David Mac Ritchie. Wait, let me see if that's the name. That's the name. Yeah, by David Mac Rich. You got to get both of them. You got to get them both. It's a volume 1 and a volume 2. And that's just a tittle of it. But when the books were reprinted in America, Moors, they changed the term to Negro, Ethiopian, Indian, misnomers, Mexican, Latin. Just like when I tell Moors, research the Geneva 1599 Bible and research in Jeremiah. And do some scholarly research when I say systematically, and it'll show you in there all the places where it say Ethiopian, African, it says Moor. Research things, man. Research literature that's not in ink when it off from the other places. Research Sheikh Anta Diop. You know, we got to know most of this stuff was in French, and he had an interpreter, and then John Henry Clark, rewrote some stuff and had him and hosted him doing lectures. We got to get into the right things, man. We don't argue with people. Those are not scholars. But to further denationalize and hide the identity of the so-called black Americans, which are the copper-colored races, found here by the Europeans. Variations of Moor in German was spelled M-O-H-R, M-O-R-E, M-O-R-H-E-R, M-O-H-R-E-R, M-O-R, M-O-O-R. Family, when we were reading older books, when you were in the elementary and you read that M-O-H-R, and they were just saying the Moor, you didn't even know what it was. They'd read right over it. In Irish, M-O-O-R-E, M-O-R-E, M-O-O-R, O'More, O apostrophe, M-O-R-E, M-O-O-R-E-S, M-O-R-E-S, McMore, M-O-I-R-E. That's why it was so important the case Abraham Lincoln defended the Moor in court. No matter how it's spelled. The Moor from Portugal. His skin didn't determine his nationality. McMore, in Scottish, M-U-I-R, M-U-R, M-O-O-R. I hope we're getting the point. So we finna get it. We gonna go over a couple of terms and show you how not to get yourself caught up just because somebody got a fez on or they dropping something. They done got some dictionaries and highlighted a phrase and don't understand real law. And I didn't say attorney or lawyer. I said legal representation. And I just have to be truthful of things. Don't listen to nobody that's telling you to do things and they haven't done. Don't do that. Don't do that. You got to do with people that understand, yes, practicing the law cannot be licensed by any state. You can look up cases with Schwer versus Board of Examiners, 353 U.S. 235, 239. Or you can say that the practice of law is an occupation of common right. The case versus Sims and Aram, 271 SW 720, 1925. So we got to understand what certain things are. The American Bar is an offshoot from the London Lawyers Guild and was established by people with invasive monopolistic goals in mind. Research these things. That's why you have to have proper legal representation. Proper legal representation. You understand what I'm saying? But this was a group in the state of Illinois. They established in Illinois and had the state legislature, which was under the control of lawyers, pass an unconstitutional law that only members of the powerful union of lawyers called the ABA. I know brothers that study law know what I'm talking about. Could practice law and hold all the key positions in law enforcement and making of the laws. And at that time, understand the context, at that time, Illinois became an outlaw state, and for all practical purposes, they seceded from the United States of America. The Bar Association then sent organizers to all other states and explained to the lawyers there how much more profitable and secure it would be for them as lawyers to join this union and be protected by its bylaws and canons. They issued to the lawyers in each state a charter from the Illinois organization. California joined in 1927, and a few reluctant states and their lawyers waited until the 1930s to join when the Group Act became de facto and the citizens became captive. Under this system, the lawyers could guarantee prejudice decisions for the privileged cases against the lower class. You don't have to listen to me, you research it. That's why I said proper legal representation. It's a language. It's a language. Indigenous people law and policy. That's what my doctoral study in is real. I got case. I'm gonna give you a case. I'm gonna show you how brothers got themselves in trouble. Not understanding the dynamics. Yes, you have a little piece of law, but then once you I'm gonna touch on it, I'm gonna give you specifics. I'm gonna give us specifics. So we gotta understand that, Moors. We gotta understand that. You gotta understand the verbiage. That's why they say you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be. That's why even in the court, they say not knowing the law is not an excuse in the court of law, Moors. You can't just read something and go in there with something and just because you read a line, you got to make sure it's valid. You must know the right verbiage. Legal representation. Not attorney. You should have somebody that understand that study law, indigenous people law and policy. When you have the right representation, we'll give you precedented cases. We give precedent cases that you can stand strong, be like, for the record, this case, this blah, blah, blah. We will know things. All attorneys won't do that, especially if they work for a bar. They don't have to do that, especially if you got a corner-pointed attorney. I've been in trouble before. The first thing they want you to do is to commit to something. Commit to a lesser charge. That means you committed guilt. They won't tell you precedent cases how to beat the case. That's why they say you must have the right legal representation. An attorney does not have to give you precedented cases. He can act dumb as a tack. And you can pay this man $10,000 of millions of dollars. I mean, I just looked at, and no disrespect. No disrespect. I tell people this. The right legal Islam family, the right legal representation. You should have brothers understanding law. You go in the court with this old verbiage, it's messed up. That's why I said the bar, I just gave you what the bar is. I told you what that's all about. I'm not giving you no fake law. My doctorate, I'm studying indigenous people law and policy. There's no excuse of not knowing the law in court. An attorney, a lawyer, he does not have to give you precedent cases. He can go in there and act stupid all he wants. And then, exactly, my brother, and then when brothers be going there excited because they don't read some jurisprudence, only one perspective, they don't know it's more levels than that one jurisprudence you read. It's 3 different levels of jurisprudence. Actually, it's more than that. So we have to know what lane, what context, and you can go in there. Don't you know, man, when I tell Moors, whoever, when you file paperwork in a court of law that's old and abolished, don't you know that's fraud, punishable up to a fine and a prison? That's why I said not knowing the law, there is no excuse. I'm telling you, Moors. So some stuff is right, and we're gonna get in specific things. I'm gonna get in about this capital name. I'm gonna touch some lawfully things to show you. Like when I tell things, we reading things from a English Gentile perspective. We don't even know what we read. Don't we know we talk about Hebrew language as somebody else's? We read Moorish from the right to the left. I'm telling you, you don't have to listen to me. Do some scholarly research. Do some scholarly research. We read from the right to the left. That's why when you say live is evil. Spells. You don't got to listen to me. You don't have to listen to nothing I say. I tell Moors, a prophet came in the language of his people. You don't have to argue. You can read in the scriptures, the Bible scriptures. When I say it must be interpreted the right way, you can look in Zephaniah 3 and 9. You can look in the Quran, whatever you want to call it. Look at Surah 14, 1 through 4. Research that. And then Moors, I hope you have your Circle 7 Quran. I hope you know where it's at in your Quran. Our Moorish Quran, I hope you know where it's at. Because it's in there. So you don't let nobody get you with their religious dogma. You must know this stuff. So, people getting you do it when I tell you our business and understand the dynamics of business. When people lying, they don't understand the dynamics how Norbert Drew Ali set up the Moorish Science Temple. They lying to you. They don't have the council to pay for how he set it up. Through the county clerk, is to have a 501c3. We don't even know the dynamics. People that's going around talking. When they putting titles on themselves, oh, I'm a Grand Sheikh. Well, look how he established it. Grand Sheikh wasn't nothing but a trustee when it was established the first time. That's why it was appointed. It wasn't elected. You appointed just like anything else. We appoint a trustee. We supposed to trust you. But now it's supposed to be something that goes with that trustee. So we got to get things in the right way and eliminate all that lying. How can you do business if you're not a business? If you work for somebody, that means you're for hire. It ain't no Europeans. Everybody have a Social Security and attack if they work. If you work for somebody, that means you for hire. You understand? That's what I'm saying. But when you are a business and you understand the difference from 501c3 all the way to 10, you can operate yourself as a business. I can't, like I tell Moors, you don't understand the difference when they'll talk about in church and state and why the European, I can't give it all to you. I want you to research it. Why he wanted religion and law separated in church. Because just like these false preachers, they'll tell you, when you deal with facts and law and things that can be proven, don't go with that. Go with faith. That's BS. That's why they wanted that out of it. That's why they didn't want to mix the two. You got to understand the difference from religion and business. But most Moors don't, because everything they doing is connotated. I promise you. You can't do nothing with no money. If you're not a business, we don't understand the dynamics. The Goodwill is a non-for-profit. All these, or I am. We don't understand this, man. The Moorish Science Temple is. Yes, I'm a Moor, but I have my own business. I go in schools at the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple in schools. Science Temple in school. We're getting ready to get a curriculum in the schools. If it's Allah's will, Yahweh's will. You know? So when people talking stuff and they ain't ever done nothing, they just sitting talking, regurgitate what somebody said, I'd be laughing. I said, man, go. That's garbage. There's no honor in being broke and poor. And talking about what my man said. So we're going to talk about real talk, my brother. And see, and that's what I be telling brother. I said, why you think every rich, European, whoever, have non-for-profits? We don't even understand the dynamics of this. But you talk about, oh, I got money. You can't do nothing for your community. You can't get stuff donated. You can't get land donated to us like we have. You can't get nothing. But you keep listening to somebody telling you, oh, man, non-for-profit, that's the white man stuff. I say, man, you got a job? You ain't no business. You for hire. And that ain't got nothing to do with no skin. That's everybody. I'm telling you, man, you are a business. And if you don't understand business and law, and you don't understand business law, I'm sorry. Don't make me no difference. I'm not finna. That's why I don't argue with nobody. But I'm gonna give you a case of a brother that trying to do these schemes that some Moors doing. He ended up going to jail for tax evasion. Look it up. The Canada Review Agency, CRA, announced today that Russell Portsky of Chilliwack, he was British Columbia, was sentenced on July 29, 2016 in British Columbia Supreme Court. This was the second trial for Mr. Portsky and his common law spouse, Elaine Gow, as their first conviction on January 18, 2012 was overturned on appeal. Mr. Polinsky was sentenced to 5.5 years in jail, less credit for time served following his previous conviction and fine of $200,000 X amount of dollars for 1 count of counseling others to evade taxes and 2 counts of tax evasion. Ms. Gao was sentenced to 1 day in jail after receiving 6 months credit for time served on a conditional sentence ordered following her previous conviction and a fine of $38,000, whatever. But they determined that Polsky failed to report $1 million X amount of dollars in 2004 2007 and evaded $200,000 in taxes and federal income to payable. In addition, Mr. Polsky failed to collect and remit $66,000 in goods and services for the tax season of 2004-2008. Exactly, Mo. Exactly. We gonna get there. We finna get there. Watch. That's why I said people don't understand the dynamics of things. Investigation determined that Mr. Polsky and Ms. Gao failed to report the total income. Okay, I said that. Mr. Polsky was the founder of the Paradigm Education Group. Paradigm, a business which counsel people across Canada to commit fraud by evading tax. Paradigm sold products, books, etc. Organized and taught fee-based seminars which educated people on how to structure their affairs in a way to illegally avoid taxes. To illegally avoid paying taxes. To date, 31 individuals have been convicted of criminal tax evasion offenses and received significant fines directly related to their participation with Paradigm. Research it. Now, this is what I be telling brothers. If you don't understand business and you operating and don't understand the dynamics of being a business, like for instance, like all these other businesses, like all these preachers that are just lying, they are nonprofit. They have people dropping $1 million off, and then other preacher drop $1 million off. You got to understand the business dynamics of it. You got to understand what Noble Drew Ali was doing. I'm telling you, you cannot do nothing, avoid no taxes illegally. You must be a real business. You are a business, and if we don't understand that, I'm sorry. You got 501c3 all the way to 10. You got to understand it. You got to understand why rich people have non-profits and how they just shelter their money. Exactly, brother. Exactly, Mo. I teach this stuff on campuses. I teach families how to do it. And when these kids graduate, they have their own business line of credit, putting cars in their name. Parents, and we don't understand it. When I say you are, I say it don't matter black or white. If you got everybody got a soul. You got to understand you are a business. But we just arguing with people, and I say, man, I operate out of business. Khary Goodman not for hire. We got to understand certain things. But if you don't understand law and you do something prematurely, that's when you're wrong. So, most definitely, fam. We do things all day, and I say, brother, man, you finna get caught up in tax evasion. They're like, what you mean? I said, watch. Oh man, I bought all the houses in the hood. Okay. You sure did, huh? You got a nonprofit? No, you ain't. Your brother in the community got a nonprofit. You ain't even sheltering it because brothers all compete with each other, having urinate contests. And you know what I want to say, but my mom listening, so I can't say that. And everybody taking advantage of business. I said, get all this other stuff out your head. Understand who you are. Understand that. Understand this business. Understand how to operate, how to change your community. We don't understand it. All the stuff in your community is abandoned, just left there, free, and you don't understand how to get it. You arguing, I'm going to go buy this, we going to go buy this. Go buy it. Go buy it and see what happened. And you're not a real business doing things for a it's laughable. So I'm going to give you some court cases. And then next I'm going to give you, actually, yeah, I'm going to talk about this. I got to go there. I'm going to go there. So, exactly, fam. Exactly. So I got a court case, man. I was looking. I said, I'm glad. I'm just blessed to have mentors from Harvard and Cambridge, and I'm glad I'm, like I said, I'm a first year doctoral student studying Indigenous people law and policy, and so I was going to go to this court case today, but I got the doc case sent to me and everything, and it's funny because when brothers misrepresent themselves because they got a fez on, antennas on my head automatically go up. And so, you know, it was a case of brother with this Moorish thing, with false information, not representing right, go and talk about his name in caps, which, yes, that means something. But when you go and say the wrong thing, it's a wrap. So let me touch on certain things. Now, I'm going to touch on a lot of cases as they come up to it because we have to do real case studies. But I'm going to touch on some things about the court cases on fictitious names and follow me with it. We're going to touch on some other stuff. So a couple cases deal with objections to one's name being printed in capital blocks or all caps. That's why I asked Morris, look at what capital mean. That's why I said it has something to do with the head. That's why decapitation, that's a compound word. That's why I said we got to understand the dynamics of words, man. But that's a whole nother linguistics lecture. In every case, the court ruled that it is furious to argue whose one name is spelled and rule against them. Follow me. Many patriots for profit have listened for profit. For profit. So if it wasn't a such thing, if it wasn't good, they telling you the law book is for profit in parentheses. Have used these court cases to prove that it does not matter how you spell a name, whether in all cap letters or not. But the contrary, and this is things you got to ask yourself and be up on your toes. But if it does not matter, Morris, why does the court simply spell the name the way the accused asked them to? However, what we about to show, Morris, the reason for the court's ruling against these arguments was not because of how the name was spelled, Morris, but because the accused used the wrong argument and submitted themselves to the court's jurisdiction. I hope y'all know this, man. Flat out, Mo. Flat out, Mo. That's why we need to do a talk show, man. I'm telling you, man. Like I said, when I get deeper in it, because I said and when brothers be talking, dang, where am I? I just had something I wanted to share with you, family. I don't even know what I did. It was Black Laws, which is good. But, man, I got ancient stuff, man, of ancient dictionaries. I'm talking about, oh, man, it's crazy. Where's my, I had it written down so I can share it with you so you can kind of research something. Some of you can get online, but I'll find it later for you, Mo. But anyway, if a court calls out a name, follow me, and I want you to research this, which is fictitious, and the accused answers that the name, even if he or she says his name isn't spelled the way, she's still admitting that is his or her name. Come on, Morris. When I say specifics, assumption, I thought, that don't work in court. The body of the accused is present. What does it matter how it's spelled now, they may say. But remember, either is your name or it's not your name. I can show you how words, man, and legally, man, you'll be like, it'll blow your mind. Some of it be legal verbiage. If not your name, you don't answer to it, period. So here's what it said. Exactly, Mo. Exactly. See, we don't get in no spookism. I say, brother, you can't study law by Googling. I'll be laughing at brother. I say, man, you finna go to court with that bull crap. That's old. So, admitting it's your name. Admitting it's your name. If a court calls out a name, which is fictitious, we understood that, right? So, if it's not your name, you don't answer to it, period. This is what you say. It's a case. I want you to research this. Russell versus the U.S. 1997 in Michigan. 969F Sup 24. Petitioner claims because his name is in all capital letters on the summons, he is not subject to the summons, completely without merit, patiently furious, and will be rejected without expanding any more of the court's resources. But follow me where we going, where I'm going to go, Morris. To argue that your name is spelled in all caps is wrong because then you are admitting what? It's your name. Are you following me, Morris? Let me say this again. To argue that your name is spelled in all caps is wrong because then you are admitting it's your name. Are we clear? See specifics. See, you, like I tell Morris, you'll get your butt handed to you in court. And I laugh. I sit back and be laughing. I'll be laughing. Exactly, Mo. A name spelled in all caps is not your name. And to say it is your name, give what? Jurisdiction to the court. You ain't got to listen to me. Do your research. Instead of saying, my name is spelled in all caps on your papers, one should say, my golly name does not appear on your papers. Research these law cases. So when the brother went in there trying not to do this, I was like, ooh, man, who he listening to? Some more talk about, I was like, man, do you got, is it a brother in there studying with y'all that's studied real law? I ain't saying go get no legal representation, somebody that's going to do whatever to you and then soak up your money. Like what happened to Dr. York. And I ain't got to say what the case, and I'm going from the evidence, what I was able to research and study. He paid some Jews $1.5 million, and they pretty much, man, his son them lied and used other girl that was pregnant. Research it. And then they said that it didn't happen. So they tried to recant the recant. Research it. And then he tried to get a brother to fight the case, and which the brother did prove his right, but it was too, he ain't having no time. That's right, Mo. So you say, my golly name does not appear on your papers. You see what I'm saying, Morris? We getting caught out with false doctrine. Let somebody tell you something about wisdom, about knowledge. They don't even study law. And I tell Morris, lawyer, the Bar Association doesn't mean nothing. I'm a first-year doctoral student, Indigenous People Law and Policy. I gave you what the Bar Association means. Ask any attorney. Legal representation. I gave you the Russell versus U.S. These are things we must know. An attorney is not going to give you precedent cases if he don't want to. He can go and act a fool. The attorney can go in there and don't know nothing. That's what happened to Dr. York. He hired these Europeans because he thought they was heavy. And what happened? Boom. His own son set that up. Had the woman say that we could get money and do this. Now his son is an attorney. I mean, a big record producer in Atlanta. You gonna do that? We got to understand law. Legal representation. An attorney don't have to give you precedented cases. He can just get your money and be like, he pleaded guilty to something. You plead guilty. Got you. I told you what the Bar Association is. I study law. This ain't me coming off the fly. When I start going to these court cases, I got so many to tell brothers, but let's get back in it. So I gave you the Russell versus U.S. But so to argue that your name is spelled in all caps is wrong, Morris, because then you are admitting this your name, like I said. I told you that. A name spelled in all caps is not your name. And to say it, your names give them jurisdiction to the court. My name is spelled in all caps on your papers. One should say, my golly name does not appear on your papers. You don't got to listen to me. Wyatt versus Kelly, Chief Bankruptcy Judge, Texas UMP, 32398. Listen to me, Morris. 44 USPQ 2 lowercase d 1578 81 capital AFT RTD 1463 98 USTC Para 50326. My brothers that study law and that's attorneys, y'all know what I'm talking about. Tried to sue judge for violating his civil rights by having his name printed in court documents in a way other than the appellation. This Crank prefers. Crank reacted by reusing or refusing to respond to the prosecution's complaint, whereupon the judge entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. Suit against judge dismissed. Are you listening to me? Civil rights, which have men for their author, are an abomination, to God because they create state worship. If you partake of man's created rights, that's why they say don't put trust in man. You are under the power of the creator of those rights, which are man rights. Exactly, Mo. Exactly, Mo. I told you, we're going to link up. The creditor or the creator determines what the created violated, not the other way around. Number two, by him admitting his name was spelled incorrectly, he, she admitted it was his or her name, and he, she, again, gave jurisdiction to the court. Are we clear? Number 3, Scripture forbids us to go to courts of law and commands us not to sue others, but to forgive others. Therefore, he gave jurisdiction to the courts simply by being lawless in God's eye. Y'all don't understand where I'm going. Y'all don't understand where I'm going. Come on, Mo. Godwick versus U.S. Bankers, Florida, UP in 7/23/96. It claims that the use of his name, John E. Godwick, I think that's how I pronounce his name. It was spelled Gdowik, is an illegal misnomer, and use of said names violates the right to his lawful status, was rejected. You ain't got to listen to me. That's why when I be seeing Moors and they be like, oh, I'm going to court, and I say, who's your legal rep? They're like, what you mean? I say, man, you better have somebody that study real law. Ain't no such thing as black law. Ain't no such thing as Moor law. It's a such thing as indigenous people law and policy. And you must understand what that is in person and land, which we both are. But you don't understand it because you don't understand that you are a business. That's why when I say, brothers, you're operating prematurely. You don't got to listen to me. And it's too easy to set up your business the right way. They give you the nuggets. How you think all these organizations, what do you think the Goodwill is? I'm the same thing as the Goodwill. I'm the same thing as the big brothers and big sisters. That's why I said I gotta speak the truth. Negro and black colors, they don't understand the dynamics. I got to keep it 100. Basically, John Doe confessed to and answered to his name in all caps. And says by doing so, Morris, he gives jurisdiction to the courts. It is no longer an illegal misnomer. That's right, Mo. You better be the de jure. They don't get it. U.S. versus Fritch. 10th Circuit, UMP. This was in 98. Defendants' assertion that the capitalization of their names in court documents constitutes constructive fraud, thereby depriving the district court of jurisdiction and venue, is without any bias in law or fact. The defendant already admitted it was their name, Morris. Do you see how when you go in court, you already committing who you are? That's why I'm like, you going and committing fraud. I be laughing. I said, man, you finna get your butt handed to you. And answer to that name. So how can it be fraud? The court is correct. So the brother was trying to go, I ain't finna pay this. I said, Mo, I'm laughing. I'm like, look, go in there. As soon as you say, well, that ain't my name, but it just spelled in capital, it's my name. You done. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Giving wrong reason, Morris. U.S. versus Washington. Finally, the defendant contends that the indictment must be dismissed because Kirk Washington, spelled out in capital letters, is a fictitious name used by the government to tax him improperly as a business. But you don't understand that you're a business. You're going around doing business, don't understand that you're a nonprofit. Nonprofit don't mean you don't make money, Morris. Y'all tripping. Y'all let somebody tell you about business and they don't even have a business. They don't even understand how to generate money in their community. I'm sorry, man. It's sad. Oh, I heard my man said. Oh, I thought. I read a hip hop book. Oh, I finna. Man, stop, man. That's right, Mo. But the government taxed him properly as a business, and that the correct spelling and presentation of his name is Kirk Washington. This contention is baseless, Morris. The accused made the wrong argument. True, it is a fictitious name. However, Morris, to say it is used because the government wants to tax him improperly as a business is hypothetical and speculative. I hope y'all know what hypothetical and speculative mean, Morris. I hope we understand that. If not, I'm sorry. Just like when I mean a subjective and objective. Denotation, connotation. What arbitrary mean. We got to know this stuff. Opinions are not law and have no standing in law, Morris. There are other reasons why the government uses fictitious names. And to claim this one without proof. Without proof. You have to have proof. You have to defend you can't go in and accuse somebody of something. If you accuse me of it, prove it, Morris. That's why I said if you accuse somebody of something in the streets and they know their law, they can take your stupid butt to court. Now you got to prove it. But we don't know this. That's why I say people better stop talking about people and they understand law and get into righteousness and science and law without proof. It's not a reason to dismiss the case, Moors. You ain't got to like what I'm saying. I can care less. I ain't here for no religious dogma. I ain't nobody Grand Sheik. I'm a teacher. This the temple right here. Yes, I'm nationalized through the Moorish Science Temple of America. But if the temple is not right, the prophet is not right. And that's the physical temple and your temple. I don't operate with no foolishness. I done been through the fire, man. I tell people a Negro killed my brother. You think I care about some Negro with a fed zone ain't operating right? They talk about their skin make them better than somebody? Or like that, your darker skin has nothing to do with your melanin food? You got to be crazy. You got to be crazy. I keep telling people that means nothing. You just a dark-skinned fool with a fed zone. Flat out. Jaguar versus Dubois. Jaejer versus Dubuque, County of Nevada, Iowa, in 95. The court finds Jaguar's argument concerning capitalization otherwise suspicious or suspicious. The court routinely capitalized the name of all parties before the court in all matters, civil and criminal, without any regard to their corporate or individual status. When I say you fighting the wrong fight, you got to understand law, legally, how to fight the right battle. Notice the court qualified the term status. Notice the court qualified the term status. That's right, Mo. You funny, Mo. But I know brother with that's the same color of my brother. Melanin popping like a mug. I know brothers dark skin like me. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing nothing. They eating wrong. They ain't operating right. Everything is wrong. So we don't get caught up in the ignorant stuff what brothers be doing. That ain't what we're here for. But the court find his Jaguar argument concerning capitalization otherwise suspicious. The court routinely capitalized the names. So I gave you that. So notice the court qualified the term status, Morris. Status. The court did not say without regard to their status, but only to their corporate or individual status. Under the law, corporate and individual status is identical. Y'all don't even hear me. That's right, Mo. That's right, Mo. Maxim of law. The law which governs corporations is the same as to which governs individuals. That's why I said you were business. Did you hear me? I'm telling you. I ain't reading nothing. We tripping. Listen to what I'm saying, Morris. The law which governs corporations is the same as that which governs individuals. Now, do you hear me when I say you are a business? I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm a business. I'm a nonprofit business. I get donations. Yes. Flat out. And if you don't understand the dynamics of it, that's your fault. Don't make me no difference. Don't make me no difference. Don't make me no difference. Jaguar error was as follows. Either he admitted he was an individual or he did not rebuke the presumption by his accusers that he was an individual. Are you following me? I hope y'all follow me. Research it. Davis versus Dobyns in Ohio, 98. I believe that not only is this case subject to dismissal, but it is also subject to sanctions under Rule 11. Okay, making a distinction between all capital letters and capital and small letters is frivolous. Huh? How? Litigant tried to deny validity or a traffic ticket because it printed the court's name in all caps. That's what the Moore did. That's what the person did. I said, bruh, after it was over, I said, man, you going in under the false argument, fool. And I had to say that. I had to say that because you think you're going to go to court and defend something based on something. That's foolish. And you didn't have a proper legal representation. I didn't say attorney or lawyer. I said right legal representation. So if you are a Moore and you talk about you represent the Moorish Science Temple and it's not a Moore in that temple, you dealing with that study law and has the right degrees in indigenous people law and policy, man, stop. That go to court, that's welcome in the courts, all courts. Stop, man. Stop. That's why, hey. Yeah, so the litigant tried to deny a traffic ticket because it printed the court's name in all caps. It does not matter how the court's name is spelled. It was spelled correctly since it is a fiction. See, we got to get to the root. It's spelled correctly since it is a fiction. Huh? Ah, y'all don't hear me. See, I know. It is spelled correctly if it's fiction, Moors. So we talk about somebody correcting a lie. It's all a lie. It's based on BS. It's pseudo. You can't correct no fake stuff. So the fake is right. It's fake. It has no bearing on, it don't make how the court spelled the name, man. It has no bearing on the validity on a traffic ticket. Similar court ruling in drug prosecution. Case U.S. versus Wacker. Research it. You gotta listen to me. Rippey versus the IRS. Plaintiff responds consists of nothing more than a protest against the capitalization of his name in the caption. That's all you arguing is a capitalization? Accordingly, summary judgment is granted in favor of the defendant and against the plaintiff. The same ruling is in Hancock versus State of Utah. Research it. Brother going to court. And I say, but what's the outcome? I don't care if you go to court. Don't make me no damn difference because you stay in court. U.S. versus M.L. Lindsay. Tax evasion defendants refusal to read court papers that capitalize his name and his other misbehavior justified the court refusing to reduce his sentence. Your behavior. Stockland versus U.S. Tax evader complained of his name being in a prior order issued by the court and then makes an incorrect reference to this form of using all capital letters as being proper only in reference to corporation entities. This is an incorrect statement of law. I'm about to give you more law back on. It's going off. Law back on part 2. We about to get deep.